Hi, Gomertrons. Top Gun.
Top Gun. This is huge. All right.
Top Gun slash
Ready?
Top Gun Maverick. Okay, great.
Right. All right. Welcome everybody to the bonus disc.
What up?
Top Gun, dude.
Top Gun, much promised, and then we went back on it. But we are doing Top Gun, and
Yep.
we've also changed several times what this episode is going to be, right?
Right. Yes. So, hold on. My garage band is being weird, but we can keep going. It's
Okay,
like we're all good. Oh, dang it. Sorry. Don't need to edit.
okay.
Yeah. So, sorry.
It's on the bonus disc. Who
It's not-
cares?
Totally. Like it's the thing where the ending is coming up and it keeps being like you're gonna end here. You know, like the
Right.
play the thing at the end.
Yeah, I do know what you
So
mean. I mean, our
yeah,
listeners don't, and I'm sure they'll be thrilled to hear about this
I
thing. They
don't.
don't
This is
understand.
this is like technical support. You know what I mean? Tell me what's happening on your computer.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, we're good. So
Listeners should
we
also know
were.
I'm in a mood today, and so this is going to be a fun.
Oh,
I mean, oh my gosh, people
oh
are so
boy.
sick of hearing about this stupid kitchen. We're in week 6, no kitchen.
Oh
We
man.
just heard from our contractor that it's going to be at least another 2 weeks, and we thought it was going to be done this
Oh.
weekend. And then
Oh.
I'm hanging lights up on this. I'm marking the ceiling for hanging lights. I step
Yep.
on our new cabinets and crack one.
Oh,
And Jessica
dang
and I just
it.
look at each other like we're just so sick of this. All right, I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but I'm in a real mood.
Oh.
So Top Gun, we're coming into
So,
Top Gun.
so
I'm
you're gonna
I'm
take it
gonna
out
have
on Tom
fun.
Cruise?
I'm gonna take it out on Maverick Mitchell himself.
Pete. Okay, so I caught two things from the firm. So I never thought this before, but Maverick is Pete Mitchell, right? Mitchell McDeer
Maverick Mitchell
is.
McDeer should be his
Yep.
name. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep. I didn't know that until I read the back of the VHS, which I'm gonna read in just a little bit.
Okay. So that was an interesting little,
Mm-hmm.
like commonality between the two. And then Ed Harris being in Maverick really made
Yes.
it
I mean, when I
like
saw him,
now we're the
I didn't know
firm.
he was gonna. When I saw his name come up, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but when I saw
Yeah,
his name come up in those credits for Top Gun Maverick, I was like so jazzed.
totally. He's one
Hmm.
of those names that you're just like, great, can't wait. I want to see everything he does.
Yep,
I
for
love his
sure.
voice.
Yep,
I love it
love
when
that
he's a good
leathery
guy. I love it when he's a
face.
bad guy. Yeah. Perfect head.
We have talked about his perfect head. Okay, so we were talking about Top Gun as like a perfect movie, but
Hmm.
I was like, it's gonna have to be an Anthony's choice because I don't think I'm just gonna tell you right now, I don't think it is a perfect movie. And then you're like,
Right.
oh yeah, but I don't know if I can defend it that well because it's not. I think you said it's not even in my top 25, but I want to talk about it still.
Well,
So
yeah, I think I said I would never pick this for perfect movie.
right,
Like as a me pick.
right.
But I would love to treat it as such. But
Mm-hmm.
but you were like, well, it has to be a your pick. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, no,
So then we
no.
said, then I said, okay, fine. Then let's go back to Father of the Bride, which I was sad
Yep.
about not doing anyway. And because I actually do, I mean, I'm fully behind Father of the Bride. So that made more
Love it.
sense. So then we
Yes.
decided, let's put Top Gun into the bonus disc as an indefensible, like Total
Hmm.
Recall.
Yep.
Um, but then Maverick comes out. I went to see it and I said, what if we did a new perfect movie spin-off series
Yeah.
called something like original versus reboot and so I think we're gonna try. I think we're gonna do perfect movie colon OG versus reboot dash Top Gun is what I'm gonna call this
Okay.
episode.
Now, my question for you on that is this a sequel or a reboot?
Okay, I love this. Let's do some reboot chat. Can we do
Okay,
some reboot chat? We've
for
been thinking
sure.
a lot about this. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, let's can we do the jingle?
Okay, wait, what do we do? What's the jingle on
Just say
this
just
new
reboot
series?
chat. Just say
Okay,
reboot
reboot.
chat.
Okay, but we haven't decided if it's a reboot. Let's do it anyway. Ready?
Oh, okay.
3, 2, 1. Top Gun
Reboot, Top Gun
reboot.
reboot,
Chatter is it really
chat, or is it really
reboot?
a sequel? Chat
All right. Wait, am I supposed to go high on that, or do you usually go high?
doesn't. I don't. It's been a while.
When you go low, I go high. Okay. Um. So you're that is it's so because I still think we call this OG versus reboot because it's like because so many of these kinds of things are coming out. Or we could do
Totally.
like someday we could do OV versus sequel. So this is um I've heard this kind of movie called several different things. I
Okay.
like the legacy sequel,
I
but
like
I've
that.
also heard it called the requel,
Oh, okay. I like that.
which
Actually, I don't know. It's kind of
I
dumb.
I like legacy sequel better.
Yeah.
Um
Did you hear when the legacy characters on Jurassic Park were interviewed
yes.
and they were like, what's the actress's name?
Yeah, Laura
Uh,
Dern.
Laura Dern. She was like,
Mhm.
I've never been referred to as a legacy actor before.
Right. And that's like where the so I that's why I like legacy sequel because it is in the same world.
Mm-hmm.
It's a it's a sequel of sorts, but they're obviously trying to reboot something. So or
Yes.
because it's been so long. And so I think that so requel I heard in the legacy sequel to Scream, which just came out
Okay.
in February, and they use that word a lot. And
Okay.
as they do in Scream, it's a send up, right? They're like they're making fun of it, or it's like a sideways take on this thing that is now happening, which
Yeah.
is it's a sequel, but it's super far removed from the original.
Yeah.
It includes legacy actors in it
Yeah.
or characters,
Yep.
but it's been so long that you can tell they're trying to reboot the series. I don't know if that's true about Maverick, actually, but I mean,
Hmm.
they would be crazy not to continue this since it's like making buttloads of money.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do a Gomer one sheet for this one because, like, we don't need it for the Indefensibles or the this.
Right.
So I didn't look up box office right now. But where's it at?
I
I mean,
mean,
it's got to be over
I
a
think it's
billion.
crossed a billion worldwide already. And
Amazing.
it hardly dropped in its second weekend. I think it was like
Mm.
33% drop, which doesn't happen right now.
Right.
So so this so I would say usually I'm kind of disappointed by a legacy sequel. I think about
Yeah.
like um partner to Crystal Skull, which
Mm-hmm.
is a legacy sequel
Mm.
trying to reboot and completely failing.
Yep.
Um uh there's like Matrix 4 I really liked, most people didn't. Um but that's a total requel. The new Ghostbusters Afterlife is pretty good, but I wanted it to be more. It's happening all the time now.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is like producers, executives. They want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure they're going to make the money back for what they pay for a movie, right? So
Right.
bankable things are stuff that worked in the past.
Mm-hmm.
I like what's it called? I.e. Dang it, property,
Yeah.
IP. So
Intellectual
like
properties. Yep.
so like IP. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking IEP, like individualized education program or whatever. Um,
Intellectual. Yeah. Like a. Yeah, you're right. Like
and then
something that it
Marvel comic
pre-exists.
books,
Right.
like just
Yep.
IP
Mm-hmm.
or sequels. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So some other ones I thought of are like Superman Returns feels like an early one for me, which they didn't bring the actor back, but
Hmm.
it's a sequel. And this is something else people that sometimes they do with IP is if sequels got too ridiculous or unpopular, they just ignore that. So Superman
Hmm.
Returns is a sequel to Superman 2.
Oh right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
They did that with the latest Halloween Legacy sequel, which is they ignore everything but the first one.
Right.
And so Jamie Lee Curtis is back sequelizing her original character, but only from the first Halloween in the 70s.
Okay.
And sometimes they just call the requel Halloween again.
Yep.
Or they either do that or there's a colon something, right?
Yeah. So Ghostbusters
Ghostbusters
Afterlife.
Afterlife, right? And I know I'm
Yep.
setting myself up for massive disappointment. I have tickets tonight to see Jurassic World Dominion, and it's the opposite of the what we're hearing about Top Gun. I've not heard a single good thing about this movie
Oh man.
besides from the
Shoot.
actors, or that it tries hard, which doesn't sound very good to me. But
That
so
does
I would say
not sound
mostly I'm
good.
kind of disappointed or very disappointed by legacy sequels.
Yeah, they seem okay. So they seem like fan service.
Yeah,
They seem like money grabs.
I have
Um,
no problem with fan service. Service me.
totally. I know
I
we've
like to
talked
be
about that.
serviced.
Move me.
Right.
Tell me
Mm-hmm.
what to do.
Right.
Um, What do we say? Manipulate
Yeah.
me.
Manhandle me.
Go ahead.
Right.
Um,
And we are
but
going to get to that for sure with Top Gun Maverick. I mean, I was handled during that
oh
movie.
yeah, I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah.
But so fan service good, money grab bad potentially.
Yeah. Potentially
Wait, would you
bad.
say is it far enough for Avatar to be a requel?
No, I don't think so. Avatar's weird. Well, maybe
Avatar,
I get.
that's like, I mean, more than a decade.
I don't think a decade is long enough. So I'm gonna.
Okay,
This
maybe
is maybe a hot take. I don't think a decade
no, that's
is
okay.
long enough. I feel like that is still a sequel.
Sure, sure, sure.
Um,
Yeah, no,
and there's no
you're
like
right. I was just thinking
rebooting
it's been
of
a
that.
while.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, no, I'm gonna say my opinion is that's a sequel, not a legacy
Okay, yeah,
sequel.
got it.
It and because Avatar's so weird because I'm not sure that it had a cultural impact like something like Star Wars when Force Awakens came out. That was felt like a legacy sequel to me, where they
Yeah,
have legacy actors in it, and it's an obvious attempt to introduce new actors into it and make it their own story. But Han Solo is in it.
right. So, legacy sequel.
I think so. Um,
I really like this legacy sequel thing, dude.
yeah, I'm trying to think of any others. I can't off the top of my head. Um, oh, Blade Runner 2049,
Oh yeah.
where not Han Solo, Harrison Ford is in it, but he's passing it or something
Uh
to
huh.
Ryan Gosling. They haven't done anything with that, but that felt like a very legacy sequel to me.
Sure. Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, that's also weird because it's a new actor,
Right.
but now they're spinning off partner to whatever her name is. Uh, dang it, what's the name of her? I can't
Who?
remember. The
Charlize
woman in it.
Theron.
Yeah, Charlize Theron. What's her name in it?
I don't know.
Leviosa,
Oh yes,
Furiosa.
Furiosa. We should ask my mom.
Hey, Carol, do you remember what that one-armed lady name was named in Predator to Mad Max Fury Road? Oh yeah, Furiosa. Thanks, Carol. I should just text her. Um, okay, yeah, I kind of like this kind of thing though, where it's like a new actor in the role. Then you have things like James Bond, which has been like doing this forever, that like eternally
right.
sequelized, and then you've got this new multiverse thing that's happening in Marvel right now, where Doctor Strange is a sequel to Doctor Strange, but also to Spider-Man and to a TV show, WandaVision.
Mm, right.
And it's like, what even is that? I don't know. A
Requ-
multi-quel?
MCU requel verse
Yeah, it's just a mess
sequel.
over there right now that I don't even know what these movies are called anymore.
Yeah. And then I guess the other one would be like Batman.
Those are
The other.
reboots.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so full on reboot. Nothing legacy about it. Like
The
if
Batman with Robert Pattinson is a reboot.
right.
And
Yep.
like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man is a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
It's like let's tell this same story again.
Why are we so hungry for the same story over and over and over again, and yet we love it?
I don't know. And that's my, I have this question in the back of my mind about Harry Potter. Will
Mm.
they reboot from the beginning Harry Potter at
New
some point?
cast,
New cast,
darker.
same story, gritty. This ain't your mama's Harry
This
Potter.
this isn't your mom's Sorcerer's Stone.
It's the Philosopher's Stone now,
Oh
suckers.
yeah, they're gonna do that.
Right,
Oh, and now and they have different accents or something like that, and they're like he's more angsty. It's like book 5 from the beginning.
right. He's got like dark hair kind of swooshed over and like eyeliner.
Yeah. Hey, one
Yeah.
other thing,
Uh-huh.
like I can remember like the first time that who was the first Batman after Michael Keaton after that whole run because
That's
is
weird.
because like there's like Michael Keaton. So if they made another Batman with Michael Keaton being Batman, that would be a legacy sequel, right?
Well, yeah, and that's happening in the Flash
Oh,
movie because the
oh
Flash movie is a
right,
multi, and this is no
yeah, yeah,
spoiler. You
yeah.
can read it anywhere. Flash movie is a multiverse movie, and he's going to the Tim Burton apparently Batman universe as one of the places that he goes. And we will see Michael Keaton again as Batman. See, it's like no rules anymore.
That's what I mean. It's like so we had this weird thing in the '90s where
Uh-huh.
just now we've just got a new Batman, and everyone's dumber than the last one.
But Val Kilmer, speaking of Top Gun,
Uh
was
huh.
a sequel to the was a direct sequel to the Tim Burton
Right,
Batman. And then um what's his name? Handsome man who played the next one.
George
Who,
Clooney.
right, George Clooney. All of those four movies are one series,
So
but different
would those be like
actors.
a recast quel
Right. Yep.
or something?
They're all in the same series with different actors like James Bond. And I think what Warner Brothers was thinking of was we're just gonna do Batman eternally now and just recast the actors like James Bond. And then Christopher Nolan's Batman is a reboot.
Got it.
And now the Batman is another reboot.
So what if somebody else made Avatar?
Right. I mean, how solid, and this is why my question about Harry Potter, like, is Harry Potter solidly established enough in the culture that it's just lore
Yeah.
like Batman is
Uh
or
huh.
Spider-Man is, the kind of the most caked in, like baked in lore characters from each of those universes that you
Yep.
can just reboot with different actors and people are okay with that. I don't actually know if that's true with Harry Potter yet.
I know. I think Harry Potter is so solidly that cast.
I think so too. Yep. And so
There's
then they're
something that
trying
yeah.
to do prequels with Fantastic Beasts, and I just watched Secrets of Dumbledore. And here's a secret for you, Dumbledore. That movie sucks.
Okay.
And it's just
Bummer.
not working. I liked the first two movies of that series, and I like the universe, but it's not working. And I
Hmm.
don't know what they're gonna do movie wise with that universe at this point.
I just won't watch any of that crap then. Um.
The first one
Uh,
is actually, I think the first Fantastic Beasts is really fun.
oh, okay.
And I really like, I mean, Hufflepuff Forever. I
Hufflepuff
really
forever.
like Newt Scamander. He rules. Who is the
Okay.
star of that? I mean, that's the main character in those movies. He's great. They don't use him at all in this last movie. Forget that crap. But watch the
All
first
right.
one.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Um. Okay. Any other sequel or I mean, they just keep making. They're gonna keep making these now. This seems like the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, this I think this is why when we talked about like the firm,
Uh huh.
why it's so good is it's like an original story. I love original stories, dude. Like I'm reading Project Hail Mary right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving that.
Yeah.
Um, I just like it when people write new stuff.
Well, and that's why reading is so great because you're getting a lot
Yeah,
more of
you're
that.
totally right.
The
I
the
like to
movie,
read.
the cinema universe right now. That you, I guess it's because you don't need to make $1 billion on a book.
Right.
Um, but every movie has so much pressure on it that it's like
Totally.
this better be the next big thing. Um, I would have said that about Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
And then they made a legacy sequel of it. I don't think they're making a legacy sequel of The Firm anytime soon. Oh, even though they made a TV series
They
that you
did.
told me about, that's a
Yeah.
sequel.
There's a reboot. That's a requel, kind of, right?
No, oh yeah,
Because
that's true. A TV, and I wonder if there's a lot of that on TV that I haven't even thought of.
yeah, I mean there was the MCU or whatever, or what was
Well,
that show?
well, now there's the well now what about Obi-Wan?
Oh yeah, the bunch of Star Wars stuff.
That's a midquel,
Okay, totally
right?
mid. Yep.
Because it happens between episode 3 and 4. And by the way, friggin' slaps. Have you seen it at all yet?
Nope.
Oh my
I still
gosh.
I still have to watch season 1 of Stranger Things first.
No, you don't. You need to watch Obi-Wan way before you watch season 1 of Stranger Things. This is like, I mean, you uh, put it on the top of your queue to watch
I know.
Obi-Wan Kenobi
I know.
before Stranger Things.
Yeah, no, and Boba Fett. We still got to watch that. Um, now I'll tell you the one that I literally
Here he
made my
comes.
sister so mad.
Okay. Don't need literally there. You just made her so mad.
I made her so mad. I called her for her birthday.
Yeah.
Me and her and my brother-in-law had like an amazing like hour or 2 or 3 hour long conversation. Just that conversation slapped.
Okay.
Um, and 30 minutes of it was asking Alexa to fart,
Okay. All right.
which
One of
is
these conversations. Great.
so fun, dude. Have you
Uh-huh.
ever done that?
I don't have Alexa. I wonder if it would work with Google. Hey,
Oh, I'm
Google,
sure it would.
fart. Is that how you do it?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's sick. It
Well,
just did it.
ask Google to define fart.
Hey, Google, define fart. You're not going to be able to hear this.
That's okay.
Fart has 4 different meanings. Okay, Google, stop. I don't want to hear 4 meanings
Oh,
of fart. That's going
okay.
to be a long time of me sitting here quietly.
Sorry. Uh, so I told them about that because it was super funny.
Yeah.
Um, and the definition is fantastic on Alexa. She
Okay.
says it's a flatus expelled from the anus.
Oh, that's great. Google was about to give me a half an hour of definitions. I'm not about to listen to that. Okay, so what is your sister mad about that you haven't watched?
Okay, Picard.
Oh yeah, a legacy sequel TV
Legacy
show for
sequel,
sure.
billion%. And
Yeah.
she and Aaron, Uncle Aaron,
Uh-huh.
were like mad at me, just like
Mhm.
you are right now about Obi-Wan.
I'm not mad.
They were like,
You probably wouldn't like it. It's just about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the best Star Wars character, and
yeah. And
don't bother.
and Ewan McGregor rocks, but so does
Best part
Patrick
of the
Stewart.
prequels, and
So
I will just say this without spoiling. They have figured it out how to redeem the prequels. I love the prequels now.
good. Okay, I can't wait. Here's what I told my sister and my brother-in-law.
Yeah,
Is it's the Halloween candy syndrome.
yeah,
It's Beethoven 2 and Beethoven 8. Something amazing that I know I'm going to love
yeah.
one day.
My
And
fear
then I
is that you're
can't
going to
do it.
get completely spoiled. So
Hmm.
one of my great sadnesses is that you knew about Baby Yoda before you watched, or did you?
No.
Okay, that was
I mean,
Baby Yoda a surprise to you when you watched The Mandalorian, the pilot.
oh, I had seen pictures and stuff. I see
Okay,
what you mean.
that's a great sadness of mine because I
Mm.
came into Mandalorian thinking this is going to be about a bounty hunter with a mask on. And then
Uh,
he opens that thing at the end, and I was like, that's what this is about. There is another Yoda, and this is a Western where he protects a child. And I was like, it was like a Sixth Sense moment for me. And so, what I'm afraid of with Obi-Wan is there is just so much rich things happening right now, and you're gonna get spoiled on it before you watch it.
okay. No, I got you. Okay, so let me ask you this: should I watch Boba Fett first or this first?
No, forget Boba Fett. It's
Okay.
great, but who gives a rip? You don't have to
Okay.
stack these things.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with Boba Fett. All you need to do, and I told Chad this on text when he was texting us about it. I was like, forget that crap. Don't feel bad. Watch Obi-Wan Kenobi because it's great and it's good and it's fun and you're a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
Boba Fett,
Great.
you can take it or leave it.
Got it. All right.
Yep. and it's not a legacy sequel in the ways we've been talking about it, but it
Mm-hmm.
sort of is because you've got an older Ewan McGregor filling out the story. And every episode, I'm like,
Right.
I'm the luckiest person alive right now to be watching the show.
Sweet.
It's good.
Here, one thing about Mando, and then we got to get to Top Gun.
Yeah.
Look at this.
He's got a polar seltzer lime. I have no idea why that has anything to do with Mandalorian. Tell me.
What color
It's
does that
metal,
look like?
it's green, and it's silver.
It
Mm.
looks like Baby Yoda color.
I never would have thought of that. Hi, Aaron.
Sorry. Are you gonna be here? How late are you here?
I am here. I'll leave here about 6:30.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go over to the Rosenbaums.
Okay.
With the kids. We'll be back like a little after 5.
He's having a conversation.
Right.
Am I leaving this in?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that in.
Whatever.
So, what? Okay, yeah. I suppose that can was green. Yep.
Baby Yoda color. Hey, how's it going, Grogu? This is Baby Yoda flavored seltzer water.
Have you seen Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Yes, we did see
Okay.
that.
What
Had
about
fun.
Matrix 4?
Nope, haven't seen that.
Okay. Legacy
also, I'm
sequels.
not
You can stack them.
I'm not afraid of things being spoiled because I don't listen or watch anything.
Interesting. Okay. There you go.
I listened to the rewatchables. I
Mhm.
watched Survivor, although we're halfway through the last season.
Oh no. So we can't talk about Survivor either.
Dang it, we're close.
Okay. All right. Top Gun. 26
Now
minutes in,
this-
we can finally talk about Top Gun. This you've seen.
This I've seen,
Okay.
and okay.
We had to have that reboot chat because if we're going to be calling that this, we're going to have people being like, oh, it's not a reboot.
All
We
right.
get it. We know, but
No,
we need it to be clean.
You should just turn that into a 30-minute episode called Reboot Chat.
What a waste. What a waste of content.
Why
that
are
was.
we talking right now?
End the episode. No, let's talk about Top Gun. So, Top Gun, can I read okay, I don't know how this is going to work because
Yeah.
we want to talk about both of these movies, Top Gun and Top Gun. I don't think there's a colon. I think it's just Top Gun Maverick.
Is it?
Let me look at what. No, there's a colon. Sorry, there's a colon on IMDb. I don't think there's a colon in the title card though.
Right. I think it's like it looks like an American Eagle or something like that.
Yeah, it's the
You know?
same kind of like. Yeah, it's like. I mean, I could share the screen with you, but I think they use the
fine.
same logo as Top Gun, which is like there's a star and there's red, white, and blue stripes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then under
this.
they just put Maverick. Yep. Yeah, you're right. So see, there's no colon, but then when it's written out on IMDb, they put a colon betwixt.
Okay. Yep.
So I don't know how we're gonna go back and forth. I'm assuming about Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick because I actually can't talk about Top Gun without talking about Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
I've seen
think we
them
should-
both about the same amount of times.
Right. I think we should start with a little Top Gun chat first, though.
Okay. Should I read the VHS?
Great.
I've got the VHS pulled up here. It's got a very young Tom Cruise.
Uh-huh.
Was this
He
pre-firm?
Oh,
It
for
must
sure.
be. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's young in this movie, in Top Gun.
Yeah, I mean, this is 5 years before the firm. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's what it says on the back of this VHS. A hip, heart-pounding combination of action, music, and incredible aerial photography helped make Top Gun the blockbuster hit of 1986! Exclamation point. Top Gun takes a look at the danger and excitement that awaits every pilot at the Navy's prestigious fighter weapons school. Top Gun. I combined Tom Cruise and Top Gun for some reason. Tom Cruise is superb as Maverick Mitchell, a daring young flyer who's out to become the best of the best. And Kelly McGillis sizzles as the civilian instructor who teaches Maverick a few things you can't learn in a classroom.
Oh,
That's it. Rated PG, even after that
What?
final sentence.
what?
Rated PG. I'm looking for. This is a very sparse back of the VHS. I can't even see how long it is. It's in color, good news, but I can't see the length. I'm pretty sure it's short.
It's not 2 hours.
No, I
I
don't
want to
think it's
say
2 hours.
an hour 46 or something like that.
It's probably a good guess. I'll find it. Okay, so that's the back of the VHS. Very brief. I
wonder if
kind
there
of
are any of
liked
those.
it.
I wonder if there are any of those great plot synopses on IMDb.
IMDb. I'll take a look at that too while we start talking. So I want to let you know one of the reasons why I didn't want to do this as perfect movies because I haven't seen this movie for 2 decades, I would say.
Okay.
Until I rewatched right before we were going to do it as perfect movie, and then I sent you that text where I said I think it's going to need to be an Anthony's choice.
And we wouldn't even be talking about Top Gun if it weren't for Maverick coming out and the cultural phenomenon that it is, which is why we wanted to pivot and do it on Perfect Movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait and watch it first before you make the decision. And then you texted back like it has to be your choice.
Right. It's an hour and 50 minutes, by the way.
Okay.
Exactly. So I called my sister, Julie, because we have a kind of a collective memory about these things. So if I can't remember why, because I was like, was this a movie? Because Jessica said it's a movie she watched all the time.
Okay.
When she was young. And so Julie called me or I called her or something. And she was saying we weren't allowed to watch this movie in full when we were kids.
Okay.
Unless it was an edited version. So here's something I've never talked about on the podcast before. When we lived in Vienna, Austria, we had a guy that would send us movies on VHS from the States, and he would edit them
himself.
Right. Whether it was a 2 VCR thing going on or something.
Yeah.
He would edit them. He would edit it out. He edited out the sex scenes.
Okay. No, he didn't edit the swearing, skip ahead like a beat.
No, it was the only thing bad basically was sex.
Okay.
So it was full violence in all these movies. I think maybe he would edit out like when Indiana Jones got his heart pulled out, but we weren't allowed to watch that movie at all. The second Indiana Jones, because it's too demonic. Right.
Yeah.
But Julie said, I remember asking Dad, can we watch Top Gun? And him saying, you can if we get the edited version from whoever the supplier was of ours in the US. And so because it is a steamy movie in general, right? Top Gun. Sweaty, certainly.
Right.
But that sex scene, I guess, we watched it a couple weeks ago and I was like, yawn. But apparently back then it was pretty steamy. And like you were saying, there's a lot of tongue action. I can't remember when you were mentioning.
That's the only thing that's steamy about the sex scene is like that. It was the French kiss heard round the world, right? Like they zoom in on like this weird.
Apparently they had heard that or something, my parents, and so then we had to cut it.
Got it.
So because of that, it was late in coming and we hadn't seen it. For some reason, I had a memory that we weren't allowed to watch it because he goes into the ladies' room. But I don't think that was the case. Which is a
bold move, dude.
He just walks right in that ladies' room.
Yeah. Not good. Not smart.
Whatever the reason, this was not in the rotation for me.
Sure.
At all when I was a child or a teenager or in college or anything. And then I rewatched it a couple weeks ago and it just wasn't connecting with me. Did you watch this a lot when you were a kid?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So I don't know why I would have watched it other than for like cool like airplane scenes.
And you know what I mean? The airplane scenes are cool. There's no denying. Yeah.
Extremely cool.
Yep.
Yep. And I remember the tongue torpedo, like definitely like.
Yes, there's a lot of like insertion.
Oh, totally. It's like zoom in and insert, enhance.
Pause, enhance,
That's my
zoom
favorite
in,
thing.
enhance.
Favorite movie trope of like Born Identity is like zoom in and it's like super blurry.
We talked about this
Enhance.
on sneakers. Remember where they're like,
Yeah.
zoom in on that license plate and enhance.
Yeah.
What? Doesn't
Where
work.
like the pixels aren't even there.
Right. It's
It's not like
zooming
you
in on something that literally. I can't believe I said it because I don't have to say that. Isn't
right.
there? It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I wonder about the Ken Burns effect too. Is
Mm,
like when they show like a pic. Do you know the Ken Burns effect?
sure.
Like
Yep.
an old time photo,
Mm-hmm.
but then they somehow make it 3D.
I mean, that's digitally enhanced in some way, but it's enhancing something that doesn't exist, right? They're having to put things in, and so that wouldn't work
Yeah.
on a license plate that's far away that you actually have to read.
Yeah. The stuff behind the person in the photo isn't there. The
It
license plate
doesn't
number,
exist.
it's not there.
It
So
digitally is absent.
it's not like there are ones and zeros that are in the way of the other ones and zeros.
Right. Um.
Yeah.
Anyways, Top Gun. It was like maybe it's because it was never a big part of my life when I was a kid, but when I rewatched, I was like, okay, it's a very sweaty movie.
Yeah. Everybody, this is what I told Aaron before we started it
Yeah.
to watch for. It was, I was like, watch how everybody is dripping wet for the entire movie.
I mean, if the sweat isn't dripping, it's at least beading. Do you know what I
It's,
mean?
oh,
Like
it's,
you get a close up
yeah,
on Val Kilmer's face,
right.
and he's perpetually dotted with
Yeah.
beads of sweat.
You'd think you would like wipe, like when I'm sweaty from running,
Right.
I'm constantly wiping it off because it sort of like tingles a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
I thought the same thing. Aren't you uncomfortable right now with that sweat just standing on your
yeah,
body?
yeah. So like, okay, like Strickland, like is just dripping wet all over his head, smoking a
Right.
stogie, being, I've got to send one of you guys to Miramar. Like, I frigging love Strickland in this. Like, I kept
What's
saying
the
that
actor's
to him.
name? James Tolkien. His name
James
is.
Tolkien. Yeah, yeah.
As
Great name.
Stinger in the. I mean, Stinger is
Stinger.
and Strickland are his two probably best known roles, and they sound
Yeah,
very similar. And he's also kind of
totally.
a similar character.
For sure. That's why I want to be like, because you're a slacker.
Right.
I
I
kept saying
wish.
that.
Oh, my head would have exploded if he had called him a slacker.
But
He's
he's
not a
dripping.
slacker, is he?
No, he's not a slacker
Maverick?
at all. Nope,
No,
he's not a
but
slacker.
he is like he's a rebel. He's a
Yep.
maverick, is what he
He's
is.
a James Dean.
Yeah, he doesn't follow the rules. That doesn't mean he's a slacker. Like
He's not a slacker at all. I just
like Marty
wish-
McFly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marty McFly, is he a slacker?
I think he's a slacker at the beginning of the movie. He doesn't even have enough energy to skateboard with his feet. He's got to grab onto a Jeep by the Burger King.
You're right. Driven by who we thought was Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but Tom Cruise, he's a maverick. He's not a slacker, so he wouldn't be called that.
Right.
So sweaty. That's funny that you said that to Aaron. Like, watch for the sweat. It's hard to
Yeah,
miss
well, it's
the sweatiness
we were
of this movie.
laughing the entire time about that. And because what I'm thinking is like, did they had to have had like those misters, like when you get a haircut,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yep.
misting everybody all the time.
I'm sure they had sweat specialists or
Yeah.
something. Because
Totally.
I was in San Diego last week and nobody
Oh,
looks
right.
like that. There's not that kind of sweat. People are playing volleyball, that's true. But they're
Right.
not. Maybe if they went inside. But I looked and there was not sweat like this in
Okay.
San Diego where they are.
Yeah. This is movie sweat.
Right, definite movie sweat, and they really go for. I mean, it's almost. It is. It's laughable how sweaty the movie is.
It's every person in every scene.
I mean, Tom Skerritt is sweaty.
Total.
Anthony
Dude.
Edwards is sweaty. These guys are sweaty.
Yes. Okay, I'm so glad you brought up Tom Skerritt because we got to talk about him eventually.
Viper.
Viper, one of the best call signs. That's a great call sign.
Yeah.
That's okay, Aaron. Okay, she said, "What would be your guys' call signs?"
Oh, great question.
I was like,
me a minute on
I
that.
was like, Gomer 1. or
Right.
maybe
Gomer 1
Gomer.
and Gomer 2, and everyone really respect those. Gomer. What I mean, I would
Gomer.
assume both of us, let's just assume both of us aren't Top
Yep.
Guns.
Yep.
It would be Gomer.
You're totally right. Okay, Aaron came up. Aaron was like, I think Steven would be Big Mac.
Oh, that's good. Pass my thanks on to her.
So you're Big
To
Mac.
all beef.
Two beef. Um,
And you?
she was trying to think of something musical. She said Maestro.
Okay, that's pretty good. Anthony R.
Like
Johnson bassoon is too long.
Bassoon Man.
Yeah,
See,
sure. Double read?
ooh, just read.
Read.
So the reason that she said that is I had this student,
Yeah.
this middle school student in Florida for a
Mhm.
long time, and her grandpa always brought her to lessons.
Okay.
Paid for him. Super
Yeah.
sweet guy. He always called me Maestro.
Okay.
He always
Maestro's
called me.
pretty good because that's like a brag. Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think there's a couple ways that a call sign can go, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Iceman. Like this
love that
guy's
one.
cold.
I love Iceman.
Or Goose, which
Uh-huh.
is like kind of like like it's sort of like a dig,
Yeah. Yep.
but it fits him, but it's not like cougar or viper or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Merlin.
right, Merlin. I kind of like that one. Tim Robbins.
That's
I
good.
forgot Tim Robbins was in it.
Tim. Yeah, like it's so weird that like Andy Dufresne is Maverick's ROI
Now I thought he was just going to be at the
or
very
Rio.
beginning, um,
Yeah.
because but then he comes back at the
RIO.
end, and I was like, there he is again. What's the acronym we just?
Rio. It's a Rio. I can't remember what it's called. You can look it up.
What does it mean? I
That
mean,
like
what? Are,
like the navigator, like the back
oh,
seat
right. So that's not a
pilot.
wingman. The wingman is the guy that's like flying next to you.
Yes. That's your wingman.
And by the way, why can't they make a swivel seat in the back there? I kept thinking, what
Totally.
they really have to look backwards all the time. So this is Jack's main gripe with the movie. Make that back seat swivel around.
Yeah. Dude, that would rule because you're right. Like they're not able to see very well. It seems like you could even just get a backup camera from my Honda Pilot, like
Or just get an R2 unit that swivels.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
Merlin
that's
is
what
the
I said.
R2 unit, right? Right
Yeah,
above
well,
Maverick.
I mean, our R2 is his Rio. I think
Yeah.
that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so everybody's sweating. That's what I thought. Just like you were saying, Aaron, watch for the sweat. That's the first thing I thought. Here, so can I just tell you why I feel like I didn't connect with Top Gun, but I did with Top Gun Maverick? I'm just going to show my hand here.
Okay, got it.
I didn't realize, or I didn't remember, that Top Gun mostly is just about them at school. Now, I love school movies,
Definitely me too.
but I was not into this particular school, which felt mostly like Jessica and I were coming up with other classes offered at Top Gun University or whatever. There's advanced sweaty volleyball is a class you could take.
Yep.
How to get as close as you can to another guy without kissing him, even if you really want to. And then I'm gonna go a little blue. Maybe I'll bleep this out. Dick measuring 101. Because that's what it feels like, right? Like I'm better
100%.
than you. I'm more patriotic than you. Have more muscles than you, and I'm so good at posing while I'm playing volleyball.
Yeah, that side one that he does where he's like he like does
yeah,
a
I can't
side
remember the
flex.
actor that does that, but it is. I mean, it's an incredible pose, and you know me and hunks. I love hunks. And the sweatier the better, apparently, in this movie. Why don't they have sand all over them when they're that sweaty? They're diving.
Well, and like wearing jeans, right?
Jeans. No shoes or socks.
Yep.
No shirt and long jeans. So I for me it's like, when do we get to something happening in this movie. They do get there at the end, right? There's this unnamed enemy that comes, and then the Top Guns. And I guess when Goose dies, that's something that happens. But Goose dies during a training thing. I didn't remember that
Right.
either.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
just, and it didn't like click into me like what the movie was about. Besides,
Yep.
I'm stronger than you, and I'm gonna like pose and also get as close as I can to you
Yeah.
and
Yep.
yell or intimidate.
It's
I don't know.
You know what? Okay. I watched some behind the scenes stuff like
Yeah.
on the writing of it,
Mm-hmm.
and the writing team, Ed Caps or Sonny Bono or something. I don't know.
It's probably
I
neither
don't.
of those things.
No. No.
I don't think Sonny Bono wrote that movie.
I'm just kidding. Um, it's a writing team,
Okay.
two dudes, and he
Mhm.
said they had made written like 5 or 6 movies together that
Okay.
were like what is it, optioned and then never actually got made.
Huh. Okay.
And so they were like, that's what's going to happen again.
Mm.
And so like they went and like one of the writers went to the actual like kind of like Top Gun place.
Right.
He was like, oh, this is just going to be a free trip to go like fly in
Sure.
some planes.
Free trip to San Diego and fly around with some guys. Yeah. Yep.
And he already loves planes and stuff. And it was inspired by like a magazine, Top Guns, a
Yeah.
magazine
Yeah.
article.
Yep. I read
right?
that. Yeah.
So he didn't think it was going to make it, and he said something clicked in his mind when he was like, "This is a sports movie,
Mm.
but
Ooh, I
instead
like
of
this take.
instead of the sport, or like, but the sport is flying, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I can
it's
see
like
that.
teams against each other, and those are the games.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
So the sport itself is not the battle they do at the end, but the sport
No.
is competing against each other.
Yes.
Yeah, so I that actually makes more sense to me than school,
Yep. He
which
said
is
it's
the
a
lens
sports
I
movie
was okay. The lens I was
instead of
watching it through
football.
was
Yeah.
this is like them just sitting in chairs when they're not playing volleyball. Tom Skerritt gets up front, yells at them.
That was
They
the
yell
closest
at
to a
each
spit
other.
take I've gotten at so far, dude.
Thank you.
That's close.
They yell at each other or intimidate each other.
Yep.
Then they like do ridiculous things and die, and they're sad. Meg Ryan's very sad about that.
Yep, totally. Yep.
And then at the end I was like, "Ooh, I'm finally connecting with this when they're doing something." And then the movie ends. And so I was like, I'm not, I mean, classic 80s, I get that. But I just didn't feel like I was connecting with it very much.
Yeah. Okay. I'm guessing as a cultural phenomena, it was so talked about and
Right.
so influential, like musically, like
Yep.
fashion wise,
Mm-hmm.
like it was like it was on the top 40 radio, like top
Right.
selling CD,
Mm-hmm.
just like hair, like
Yeah, what's the big
Um,
song? The big song is Danger Zone, right? Run into
Danger Zone,
the
yeah.
danger zone. That's the opening credits. Yeah.
right. But before that is the down, 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 down.
Yep. Yeah.
Is that called like the Top Gun March or the Top Gun theme or something like that by some German composer,
Okay.
Harold Faltermeyer? By the
Oh.
way, that's in my notes. Is the opening on Sonos
Oh.
is so good.
Okay. Yeah,
Like I don't know if you watched it on your speakers,
I did. Yep.
but like Lily watched the first 4 minutes with me
Mm-hmm.
earlier. Like I just wanted to show her like the beginning.
Yeah.
And like you see the Paramount logo,
Yep.
totally pumped.
Mm-hmm.
And then full stereo, like the way the delay is.
That
so like that's like
synth,
the mid
yeah.
80s, like
Mm-hmm.
synths, U2 is huge, that delayed sound.
You're right.
But then
Yep.
there's kind of like the heavy metal guitar. It's so perfect. And that comes right back in Maverick at the opening.
Yeah. So I don't know when we're going to start talking about Maverick, but I think that what Maverick does then for me, and I'll just say this, and we can go back and talk about Top Gun if
Yep.
you want to. what Top Gun Maverick does right for me, it's a very similar thing to Obi-Wan show. They take the best things
Yep.
about that original and they put them in and they do a lot of cooler things around those best things. So for
Totally.
me, the big now a lot of people love Top Gun Maverick. I haven't met
Yeah.
anybody who hasn't like been either
Yeah.
surprised that they've loved it or knew they were going to love it going in and are like,
Dude,
see,
it's like a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes, both critic and
yeah,
audience.
it's wild. And so I
I know
can't
it's
speak to why everybody loves it, but I'll tell you why I loved it. It's because right away they tell you what it's for. So first of all, there's
mm,
this great opening scene. Well, first of all, there's the credits where I'm like, it's a shot for shot and
yep.
beat for beat music, right? Of the
Perfect.
opening. And then
Perfect.
whenever a new actor credit comes up, like Ed Harris,
Yeah.
something happens in me, like when you see the Enterprise come out of the water
Mm-hmm.
in the second new Star Trek, where I'm like, I'm seeing something I'm familiar with a new element in it that is just
Yeah.
really it's jazzing me right now. So Ed Harris comes up, Jennifer Connelly comes up, right? And I'm like, oh
Yes.
wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
I might really like this movie.
For sure. Well, okay, here, let me say two other things about Top Gun and then we can leave it
Okay, great.
altogether and we can just talk about Maverick
Okay,
because I had the exact same feeling.
okay, yep,
Um, being more familiar with Top Gun than you were though.
sure,
Like for
yeah,
example, in the opening the opening word like title card
mm-hmm.
in Maverick, first of all, even they use the same font, you're just like, yes.
Oh, and then the description you're talking about, like the paragraph about what Top Gun is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So like there's this classic typo where it says
Oh,
that they're going to ensure the safety,
spelled
and
wrong?
it was spelled wrong in the OG and spelled right in this.
Wow.
So
Okay.
like it's ensure, like en,
N. Yeah.
right? It's like just like a little thing like
And in
that.
the
I was
original,
like,
it's IN.
yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like they fixed that title card. Um two other things I loved about the OG one real quick. I love watching old 80s and older movies because they're clearly like scanned negatives, even
Yeah.
the title cards. So
Right.
like the title card rocks back and forth a little bit.
It's a little bit
You know what I
like
mean?
jiggly.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like
That's right up
just
my alley. I love like seeing it a little bit janky.
yeah. Because
Whew.
like it's not like digital, they just go like PowerPoint like just bzz.
Right.
It's like scanned onto a negative
Yes.
and then digitized later.
One of the I think I'm remembering this right. One of my favorite instances of that is at the start of Willow.
Ooh,
um which is like a real it's just like the words come up but it's kind of like a fantasy font but it's kind of
yeah.
like jiggling a little bit over the
Yeah.
oh
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that brings me so much pleasure.
I love that too. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, hey, Willow Legacy sequel.
Willow, yeah, right, on Disney Plus. Willow
Yep,
Legacy sequel. I'm the only one excited about that in my house. Nobody else is a
dude.
fan.
I was goosebumps for that trailer. Like
It looks great.
pumped.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Yes,
so I was
please.
yeah. Give me that. Last two things.
Uh-huh.
I love the opening music, and then just Tom Skerritt,
Wow.
dude. Okay, we're gonna talk in the future about aging
Yeah.
and stuff. Probably not on
Mm-hmm.
this episode, but
No,
um, Tom
not after
Skerritt.
40 minutes of reboot chat.
No, Tom Skerritt when he comes down the stair, like when Maverick goes to his house,
Yep.
and he's got so perfect outfit, dude. Levi's 501s. He's got this white,
Yeah.
like flowy shirt.
Wait, you're talking about Cruz here or Scarrett?
No, Skerritt,
Yeah. Yep. He looks good
dude.
in this
Like,
movie.
dude. I was like, Aaron, that is exactly. I can't, but that is exactly how I would want to look at like 55.
He
Perfect.
is such a cool looking dude, no matter
He,
what
dude,
age he is.
hair, mustache, like just I
Yep.
love Tom Skerritt.
I
Dude.
love his voice. I love his demeanor. I
Yep.
hear he's actually a super nice guy in real life.
Sweet.
Okay, you were saying who's better. This is in the Father of the Bride episode. You were trying to get me to choose between Martin Short and Holly
Yeah.
Hunter.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who I was thinking about when I saw Tom Skerritt, and I love seeing Tom Skerritt and thinking about Tom Skerritt and like dreaming about Tom Skerritt. What is the best Tom Skerritt performance? I have top three. I have Space Camp,
Dude.
not on many people's lists, but definitely on mine. I have four. Sorry, Top Gun. I think this performance is really good.
Really good.
But then you have
Yeah.
Alien,
Young Tom Skerritt.
where
Amazing.
he has to be the twist basically, where you think he's going to be the hero and then he dies.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then there's Steel Magnolias, which is a bonkers performance. I want you to watch sometime.
Oh, okay.
He is so good in Steel Magnolias.
Oh, okay. Now you've really piqued my interest.
Yeah. I think my favorite performance of his is Space Camp because he's so fatherly in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's so good. You're right.
But
He's much,
I didn't know
yeah.
that he was this good in Top Gun. He's so
He's
good.
he's super friendly, fatherly, yeah, in Space Camp.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I would probably say Top Gun look wise. So I
Okay.
think he's 55 in this movie.
I can't even believe that.
I think that's right. I could be wrong, but
I'll
just
Google
that has that shirt's even above the shirt from Sixth Sense, dude.
Just that
Perfect
white
shirt.
shirt.
Perfect shirt, and he's got like a trucker hat, like a Top Gun trucker hat.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. There's one other thing that he's in, dude. There was this ABC show called Brothers and Sisters.
Oh yeah, you've told me about that show before.
We were totally into that show in our early days of Florida.
Uh-huh.
He's like the dad of like adult children.
Okay.
You know,
Great. Yep, that's great casting. A dad of adult children. Yes, please.
yeah.
Looks like he was
totally good.
51 in Top Gun,
Oh, 51. Okay,
and he's 88 right now.
still alive.
Still alive.
Still has that shirt.
Here's a little fact about him. Today he is 88 and has starred in 100 movies in total. 69 since Top Gun was released. 69 dudes.
69 dudes. Wow. Yeah,
Prolific
I think
actor
it's
and
great.
so great. Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about Top Gun Maverick a little bit more?
Yep.
Because I haven't revealed yet to you what is the kicker for me. And that is that, or maybe I did, that after that opening credits, and then that sweet spaceman going Mach 10 scene.
Oh man. Okay, so this is the thing you need in a sequel, right? You build on the world that's already been you're living in the world that's already been built, and then you
Yep.
up the stakes.
Yes.
So this scene right here is when I was like, because watching Top Gun, it's dated, but it's filmed on film,
Yep.
on location. So like
Yep.
both of those things, you can't get any better, honestly.
Mm-mm.
Like full res film at a real aircraft carrier.
Right.
Um,
Looks
like
so
now,
good.
yeah. But then the stealth, like in that control room,
Uh-huh. I love
like
that control room.
I was like, okay, this
Yep.
is way like upping the stakes and way better quality, like movie making. You know what I mean?
and I say spaceman because that's what Tom Cruise is. He's wearing an astronaut's outfit,
Yep.
which,
Yep.
hey, that looks great. Then he gets in
Awesome.
this like future plane where they're like, don't do this, you're gonna die. I love that.
Yeah. Yep.
Then he goes, I'm just gonna do it, and he's pulls a Maverick and goes a little bit faster. And the
Yep.
theater I was in was full, and it was so loud.
Mm.
And I went with my brother-in-law, who I saw Rudy with when we did the Rudy episode because he was in
Oh,
town.
yeah.
And Jack, we went together.
Yep.
And just it felt like we were getting pushed back into our seats.
Yeah.
And that felt like worth the price of admission. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then here's the kicker for me. He's done with that. Then they're like, we need you. You should be getting punishment because you're such a bad, naughty boy. but we're going to
Mhm.
actually have you come and teach again. And before you do, it's not just to teach, it's because there's a reason. And
Mm.
then they show and I love this, kind of like this, like, I don't know what you call it, like a Death Star. And there's a lot of Death Star stuff in this movie
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
a simulation of, here's this thing you have to blow up.
Yep.
It's a suicide mission.
Yep.
You're the only guy that can do this. And so right from the top, this is different than the first Top Gun. You have the
Yep.
mission. And I don't know what it is, if it's just because I'm a J, but I was like, now I can fully grasp what the reasoning for everything they're doing is in this movie.
Yep.
And it completely
Totally.
changed it for me from Top Gun.
Totally. No, okay, so so what I would say about this movie is it's way better than the first.
I can't believe how much better it is. And
Way
do
like
most people think that? Because I think it's like 100 times better than the
yeah,
first one.
it is so much better. It's like so what I left feeling was like you remember when you called Al after Avengers and were like they did it.
Yeah, I do. I was sitting on the front stoop of my house in, like, still my jaw was dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to call Alex about this and just say they did it.
Mhm. That's what
This is very similar.
exact same thought, dude.
Yeah.
Because Tom Cruise, like I heard him say a bunch of different times, like it's not like I was opposed to a sequel. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you just need the right story,
Yep.
and they finally did.
And it's so like perfect because the student becomes the teacher. That's a trope, but it really
Yep,
works in this one. The
totally.
teacher at the end, they're like, actually, Tom Cruise, you should just do that. You taught all these
Yeah,
kids, and now you also get to be the hero. So it also felt like there's been a lot of conversation about what this movie is about and why people like it. And some of it's actually toxic, but whatever. I actually think it's a movie about teaching too, because teachers are getting so much crap right now. It's actually
mm-hmm.
kind of cathartic about a teacher who actually is also the hero.
Yeah,
It's so good. And Tom Cruise himself comes out, this new thing that's happening at the before the movie even starts, to welcome you. Did this happen in your
yeah, yeah,
showing?
yeah. It did.
Welcome back to the movies. He's just sitting there in a movie chair,
Yep,
tousled hair.
yep,
And then he says this thing about, like, we hope you enjoy this because it's all real.
yeah,
It's actual. I think he says something like, it's actual G's.
uh huh.
I'm thinking it sure is. Geez Louise. I love this movie. This is actual G's in so many ways. You were right, Tom. Because, like you're saying, it's an actual shot of an actual aircraft carrier. Tom Cruise and his little friends are flying these planes in real life.
In real, yeah, totally. Oh yeah, you watched that how they
YouTube
made it,
video.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so he comes off this aircraft carrier. It's like this, they've got a camera apparently mounted on the front of the plane looking in at him.
Yeah.
And it comes off the aircraft carrier and then drops a
Mm-hmm.
little bit because of gravity. And you feel that in Tom
Yeah.
Cruise's demeanor and body.
In
And then
his
somehow
face.
you're feeling it in your own body. And it's
Totally.
just like, how do they let this happen? How did they do this without a bunch of people dying? And it's just
Totally.
like you're saying, they did it.
Yep, they did it. Another video you got to watch if you haven't is Tom Cruise brings James Corden on a flight.
I have seen this video. You were saying this on our text. We have the same, what is
Dude,
it called?
it's the algorithm.
Right,
It's
the same algorithm apparently.
Like,
Because
bro, you text me, I text you, you're like, yeah, I already saw that. It's like the stinking algorithm.
yeah, you're just flying around a little plane in that video, but they're flying like real Navy planes.
Yeah, no, but he's got at the last plane that he flies with James Corden is like a real thing.
Yeah.
Like he does the like barrel rolls
Yep.
and does like
That barrel roll at the end of the movie of
yeah.
Maverick when the credits are about to start. That's him flying around that
He
plane. It doesn't have to
actually
be.
did that crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things about a legacy sequel, we talked about fan service.
Yep.
This does everything.
Yeah.
Without being cheesy.
Yep.
It's I honestly, this could be a perfect movie.
I feel like
I
it's a
don't.
perfect legacy sequel. I,
It
I mean,
it is
I'm gonna.
the perfect legacy sequel, dude. I don't know of a better legacy sequel.
I can't believe I'm saying that this is my favorite legacy sequel of them all.
Wow. To a movie you don't even really like that much.
Right. I
Right?
maybe that helps
Sure.
because Matrix
Sure.
4 would never be better than Matrix 1 no matter what they do.
Impossible. Or
And
Goonies if they did a Goonies legacy sequel. It like
right, which I think they probably will someday. I think they're just waiting for Zemeckis to die or Bob Gale to die so they can do a legacy sequel of well, they'd never be able to do a
oh,
legacy sequel. It would have to
Back to
be
the
a
Future.
reboot
Sure.
of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Um, I know you haven't seen Matrix 4, but let me say one more thing about why I think Top Gun Maverick works. It's because it's so simple.
Huh.
You cannot get lost in Top Gun
Oh,
Maverick about
okay.
what's going
Sure.
on.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
the Matrix 4 takes some huge swings, and I really appreciate that about it. And I love a movie that makes big swings, but sometimes you're lost.
Yeah.
It's impossible to get lost in what's happening in Top
It,
Gun Maverick. It's just it's the opposite of confusing.
yeah, it's a movie that is about flying but completely grounded.
There we go.
Right? Like
Yes, I agree.
every single like you can't get lost. It the mission is impossible.
That's right. And boy, oh boy,
And
was I also jazzed by the new Mission Impossible trailer beforehand.
dude, okay, here's what they did with that is
Yeah,
you're about to see a movie that's one of the best movies I've seen in a really long time.
right.
One of the best theater experiences I've had in a super long time.
Yeah.
And right before it, just like with Dune, when it said part
Mm-hmm.
1,
Yeah.
you get this Mission Impossible thing, and it's like, okay, here's something to look forward to a year from now.
Oh yeah.
And it's only a part 1 of that.
I it was a Dune Part One moment for me. That
Yes.
trailer when I was like, great. One of my favorite franchises going on right now. The partially is just the theme, dun 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 dun, dun and what the
Yeah.
composers are doing with that theme, even in the trailer. And then
Yep.
it's called whatever Dead Rising, or I can't remember what it's called right now.
Yeah.
Part one.
Yeah. Dude, totally.
And I that almost was price of admission for me for Top Gun Maverick was that trailer. Anyways, you're right. There's an all you need to know about Top Gun Maverick is there's an impossible mission. He has to teach kids how to do it.
Yep.
And you know the whole time because you've seen the trailer, he's going to end up going with them. And everything else
Totally.
is just icing on the cake.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, let's go through a few of the little fan service things. So,
Okay, first
did
I
you
gotta
know
pee super bad. Sorry.
Oh, me too. Okay.
Okay,
Pause everybody.
I'm gonna pause this, but not the video. So if you're a 13.1, you get to look at our empty rooms. I'm gonna pause this real quick.
Okay.
Okay,
One,
I'm pausing.
2, 3, stop. Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'm gonna whiz too.
Sweet.
What up, nation? How's it going? Ooh, my dog's going crazy. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Ooh. So now.
I'm back.
Oh, there he is.
All right. Should we go back a little bit?
Yeah, let's go to 108. What are you on?
I can go to 108. One I at 10 at 108:01 I say, but first I need to go to the bathroom. So we could.
Great.
What do you say at 108?
Hold on.
Like what's the but first? Like what were
Oh,
you getting to? Sorry. I want to make sure we
yeah,
get
hold
back
on.
to it.
Hold on. Okay. I'll start at I say okay, let's go through a few a few of the little fan service things.
Okay, great. Love it.
So go to 10801.
Okay. Perfect.
10801.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Got that right on the dot. Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's start there. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, click. Still clap though.
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
So I said, let's go through a few of the little fan service things.
Okay. Great. Let's do it. Fan service me.
Okay. So first thing, the insure, that was funny.
Yep.
Super basic, but like little thing, like
Little hints, right? Little winks that work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then
That's
perfect opening. You're
Mhm.
like, I'm comfortable. The music, the stereo, the delay, perfection. You see in the credits, score by Harold Faltermeyer or whatever. Lady Gaga.
Is that the same guy? Oh,
Same guy.
Lady Gaga. Yeah. So and Hans Zimmer.
Yes, and then Hans Zimmer. So I was like, there, like that right there is almost like that shows you how much better this movie is.
I forgot about this.
You've got
Oh my
an
gosh.
iconic score nugget that
Mhm.
everybody loves and is familiar with, and then you hand it to Hans Zimmer. That is like this movie, basically. Something that people love, and then you give it
You're right. I really like
Like
this.
like you give it over, and then it's like because Hans Zimmer plays with those themes.
Oh yeah.
But then occasionally-
I love the score.
Yeah, dude. Like sometimes you'll hear a little Dune. You'll hear a
Uh-huh.
little. I heard some Dark Knight in there.
Yeah. Yep.
And but then it's grounded and rooted
Yes.
in that sound of the 80s.
You're right. I really like
Mm.
that kind of a like that is a microcosm look at what the
Yeah.
movie is like.
Yeah.
You've got that 80s stuff, you've got new, and then it's triple billed with Lady Gaga. And I gotta say, she's the hidden gem of this. I mean, when that song comes
Totally.
over the credits, that is a banger. It's not
Yeah,
a banger,
dude.
probably, but I mean,
Yeah.
I was like, sing it, girl.
Yes. It's so good. And we don't have that many songs these days over credits.
That seems to be a lost art, right? Like
Yep.
every 80s movie used to have. We just watched Over the Top the other day.
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like you have to have a different song, 90s too, a different song over the credits that like is about the movie.
Yeah, totally. Or like
yeah,
20
put those hands together and really strain your face. That's the over the top song. It's not that, but
Totally.
you know what I mean.
Karate Kid has that, right?
Definitely. Even Back to the Future has
totally
Back
Power of
in
Love.
Time, which is
Oh,
a
yeah,
song
yeah.
about the
Down,
movie that Huey Lewis
Do-
wrote.
da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Totally.
Yeah.
But even 2012, do you remember that?
What is the song in that? I'm not surprised that they had a
Um,
song over it.
2012 is the one with the arcs, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's like Adam Lambert.
Oh yeah. Yep. You're
It's
right.
like
That sounds very familiar. Yeah. So to have a Lady Gaga song, original song
yeah.
over the credits, and it's
Mhm.
so good and really fits with that Hans Zimmer score
Yeah.
and kind of sounds 80s.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the cherry on. I can't. They did it.
They
Thank
did
you,
it.
Lady Gaga.
This is one of the best they did it's ever, dude. Top Gun Maverick.
Definitely. Okay. What
okay.
else for fan service?
Okay, so then you've got Penny. Is that her name?
Right, Jennifer Connelly's character. And do you feel like Jennifer Connelly herself? Sometimes they'll cast an actor So she's not supposed to be the same girl,
No.
right? She's not supposed to be the Kelly McGillis role.
No, no, definitely not. No, no, no. So this is fan service, dude. In the beginning of the first meeting with Strickland
Yep.
and Maverick and Goose,
Mm-hmm.
he says something about, and this thing about the Admiral's daughter, right? Like he's
Oh,
going through
okay.
all of his like
I missed this.
infractions
Uh-huh.
and
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
And so this is her from that.
Got it.
And he
Okay.
just makes a couple of like little nods
I
to
love it.
to that.
Okay. I guess I think what I'm saying is that Jennifer Connelly, the actress,
Yep.
is such a 80s and 90s throwback for me
Mm-hmm. Oh,
personally.
okay, yeah. Right,
So,
yeah, Labyrinth.
right, Labyrinth and Rocketeer.
Oh
Hubba hubba.
my gosh, dude. This okay, we need to pair a little bit of that because we talked about how hot Tom Skerritt looks. I've never said that before in my whole life. But like
Well, usually, so Jennifer Connelly is in that same category, right?
right.
So I actually think another thing that like throwback movies do, or I mean, I hate to harp on Stranger Things. I'm sorry. I know that someday you'll watch it, but I think Stranger Things does this really well. They will just cast an actor like Winona Ryder
Mm-hmm.
or Sean Astin,
Yeah.
Rudy, where
Yeah.
you're just like then taken back to that moment because of the actor.
Yes.
And so I feel like the presence of Jennifer Connelly in this movie does that immediately for me.
Man, okay, that is really good. I did not even think of that as her being an 80s, 90s totem or something
Icon,
like
I would
icon.
say.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, or
Sorry,
yeah,
that's better. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, icon. Like Tom Cruise.
yes, right.
A place or a thing would be a totem.
But
Sorry.
because
But you know what
Tom
I mean.
Cruise is so ever present that he is now a 2000s and 2020 actor also.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's quite what I'm saying with Jennifer Connelly, but for some reason when I saw her name
Yeah. Yeah.
in the opening credit, I was like
Yeah.
taken back immediately. And then when you see her, and she does look so incredible. So,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's
She
just
looks
like,
yeah.
wow.
She looks amazing. The thing that so I went with Mr. Aaron
Mhm.
of Two Gomers
Right. Right. Friend of the
running theme.
podcast.
Yep,
Yeah.
friend of the podcast. And we were laughing after they did like the boat scene, like the
Yeah.
sailboat,
Yep.
and they're on the motorcycle,
Yes.
and then he's
That
dropping her off.
motorcycle scene. Yep.
Everything about that is incredible. That's
Mhm.
almost dream wish fulfillment or something like that. Like sailboat,
Yeah, there's all sorts of
motorcycle,
vehicles in these movies that I would
every
never ride or
totally
drive.
too
But
dangerous.
way too dangerous.
Too
Do they-
scary.
do they ride one vehicle in this movie that couldn't kill you, wouldn't kill me immediately?
I know, like where's the Honda CRV? Um, but no, but what we were saying is he's dropping her off and he walks her to the door, or whatever.
Right.
Her hair, dude, her makeup,
Yeah. What's up
her
with her hair?
clothes.
I don't even understand.
No,
It's
no,
so good.
it's perfection.
Yes.
And of course, he looks incredible too. And we're
Yeah.
like, they did not just get off a sailboat
Mm.
and then a motorcycle ride. Like, come on.
That's true.
Yeah,
Stricken.
right.
Stricken from the
Strike
record.
that from the record, even though they look incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was fan service, though.
Mhm.
That she was like that little, just not like,
Yeah.
Admiral's daughter. I'm almost positive that's who that is. I could
Okay.
be wrong.
I
but I'm pretty
missed
sure.
it, and it's probably because I'm not as familiar with Top Gun. But I was wondering, like, does she have some significance that I don't know about? So that's helpful.
No, so she's not that, but I guess I just love that she's mentioned in
Yeah.
the first movie. That's it.
It's awesome. I love it,
I think that's cool.
and that's probably the
Um,
definition of fan service because you really have to be a fan to pick up on something like that.
Yes. So I guess I know that first movie better than I thought.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Like other favorite line from the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Your ego is writing checks
Checks
your body can't
your
cash.
body can't cash. Right. Did they ever do Need for Speed? in this movie in Maverick? I didn't catch it.
Mm, I didn't catch it.
I mean, because certainly in the first movie they had the need for speed. They had
The need
the
for
need for
the need
speed.
the need for I got the need. They didn't do any teeth. Like when Iceman's like ah, like he like
Right.
bites at Maverick, or maybe it's
Yes.
Goose.
And you hear that clack of the
Yeah,
teeth.
yeah,
Right. Yep. Um,
weird.
okay. What other I have a couple of questions about whether it was fan service or not in certain parts, but let's keep
Okay,
going with your
so there were a lot of lines. Once
mm-hmm.
again, they did it
Yep.
because I had watched one the night before.
Okay.
Like there are so I can't really think of any. The main one I can think of right now, and we haven't even talked about Goose's son yet. So
Right.
that's like a huge thing that we're leading towards. We need to get to that.
Okay.
Because he says this line, which is at the end of Top Gun, Maverick is like, "Help me, Goose," or like, "I need your help, Goose," or "Tell me what to do, Goose," something like that.
It's a very Star Wars moment, right? Like,
Total help me,
yeah.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, for
Yep.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
That comes back. I think Maverick actually does it, but definitely, what's his name? Goose's son?
Rooster. Miles
Rooster,
Teller
yeah.
plays Rooster,
Okay.
which anytime I felt like that's a little bit cheesy or going too far, I was like, don't care.
Don't care.
Perfect.
You've got me. I mean, okay, let's talk about him, dude.
Okay.
His look,
The
incredible.
mustache.
The
Yeah.
mustache.
He also has a
the
similar
Hawaiian
build.
Yeah, similar build, like taller, lankier.
Yep.
He's got the yellow Hawaiian shirt. His
Yeah.
body language. It's dude.
He can
is
play
so
the
perfectly
same
cast.
song on piano. What is the song
I
that
know.
they sing?
Great Balls of Fire.
Right. Great. He loves playing Great Balls of Fire on the piano at bars.
Yep.
And he's like shirtless. He kind of looks like Anthony Edwards, right? Like Miles
Yep.
Teller. He's kind of a weird looking dude, just like Anthony Edwards, I think.
Yep,
It was
not
great casting.
Classic movie star, handsome, like
Right.
perfect bod. Like he's got kind of a weak chin. Andrew,
You're right about that. Yes.
Right? Like,
and I would say the mustache doesn't help with that. Usually when you have a
Yeah.
weak chin, you'd grow some sort of defining beard,
Totally.
not a mustache.
so it's the
That makes
opposite.
your chin even less defined. But I loved it.
Perfect.
And you're right, the Hawaiian shirt goes a long way.
Yep, with like a A-frame, what they
Yeah.
quote unquote call wife beater.
So I would say
Yep.
the presence of Rooster isn't fan service because that's something everybody gets right away. I feel like fan service has to be a little bit subtler. That's why
Yeah. So that's why. Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
No, that's why he's not fan service, so we haven't gotten
Right.
there yet. This is what makes it a legacy sequel.
Yeah. Right.
Is it's
The passing the
you're-
torch.
Yup. Like
Mhm.
this is Goose's son, who we knew.
Yep.
But Tom Cruise is in it also. But so like it's actually a great like father son
Yep.
sort of thing. Like there's a
Yes.
father wound, like a major father wound. But it's actually it's not a father wound. He has I don't know what you
A vendetta.
what you-
Like
a
he
trauma.
he has father trauma. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
And he's going to take
Um,
it out on Tom Cruise or not.
Yep.
And that's a part of the tension of the movie.
Great world building too, and I hate to say it, but like the fact that his mom had died earlier too.
Yeah. Yep.
Super sad, of course.
Yeah.
But
So they
that was-
do this right. They do everything right about this in this movie, and they don't try
Nope.
too hard. Actually, I don't think
Nope.
in this movie that
Yep.
that is wrong about Crystal Skull and Shia LaBeouf. I just
Yep.
like that's a
So
father
right.
son pass off that does not work, and he's not even in the new movie because it worked
How-
so bad.
Dude, how did they do this?
I don't know.
How did Spielberg and Lucas couldn't do it?
And this
And
is just
Top
like
Gun
it's so
did.
obvious. He looks like Goose. He has the same attitude. He's mad about it. It's just everything about it should be eye rolling, and it
Yeah, but
works.
It so works, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, yep. So I love how they work through it. Like,
Yeah.
I love how I mean basically they don't get through it until the very end. Like I think a way worse written movie would have been like they get a beer and they talk through it and they hug it out or something.
Or a way
This
worse movie, he wouldn't have chosen him as his wingman. He would have chosen that
mm,
punchable face guy, the kind of Val
yeah.
Kilmer stand-in, and
Yup.
they would have had to deal with that. But for some reason, they just decided, no, we like how this would work. He should be his wingman at the end, and
Mm,
he is, and it's great. And they crash land in this unnamed enemy country and have to
yep.
run around in the woods.
Yeah. They get a scene together. They
Yeah.
get well, I mean, actually Maverick dies for him. They get
Yes.
a death scene.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
he dies for him and then he
Survives.
di- yep, and then
Does the same.
Rooster does the same. Like he's
Yeah.
like they're both willing to die for each other.
Yeah.
Um they get the same scene at the end as Maverick and
Mm-hmm.
Iceman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Iceman stand-in that doesn't work in the 2020s, dude.
When I saw Val Kilmer's uh name in the
Mhm.
opening credits, I thought,
Yep.
okay, this is like an honorarium or something. You're gonna see his picture
Mm,
on the wall, which they do.
right. Yep.
So I wasn't thrilled with the CG Iceman,
With the
right?
what?
Like CG Iceman. Um,
Wait, that was CG?
oh yeah. Wow, it worked
Okay.
on you. They tricked you.
Okay, I'm a moron. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, Val Kilmer's dead, isn't he?
What?
Yes. Wow, this is big news, everyone. Um,
Oh man.
no, maybe he's not dead. No, he's
I
not
thought
dead, but he certainly is
he.
not able to act for some reason.
Wait, I thought. Okay. Here's what I've walked
Maybe
away
I'm
thinking.
wrong. Am I wrong?
I thought that was him, and he doesn't talk at all because he can't talk. Like he doesn't have a.
All right. My mind is being blown right now. I thought Val Kilmer was dead. He's not dead.
I think he just like Bruce Willis also like he just having serious health.
He has some sort of degenerative mental
Yeah.
disorder or disease, right? Um, health.
Yeah.
In 2021, after complex work, Kilmer's voice was able to be recreated through AI technology using archival audio. That was what was used to reproduce his voice. I thought that was a Grandma Tarkin situation.
Oh. I think the reason that he doesn't talk at all is because, like we said, but he still got to
Yeah,
be in the movie.
oh, he's got cancer and he's had tracheotomies. So it's not a mental disorder. It's just like he can't talk.
Oh, okay.
And he's all right. In order to speak, he plugs an electric voice. Wow, I was so off on this. I apologize, Val Kilmer. I thought you were dead. So embarrassing. I thought he was dead and it was CGI.
Oh no, dude.
Oh boy, I'm keeping this in even though I'm sweating with embarrassment right now.
No, sorry, dude.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
so
to see the movie again, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess I would like because I was like, how are they going to do this? Because I remember hearing this thing about the voice, and
Yeah.
then he doesn't talk at all until the very end, where he just sort of like whispers.
And that's a digital
Yeah,
voice because I don't think he can
yeah.
even do that according to this that I'm reading.
So
Um,
here's what I'm feeling in that scene,
yeah,
knowing that it wasn't a Grandma Tarkin,
yeah.
was that, and so then you need to see this again. Was
Okay.
I was actually thinking about two 55-year-old men that in the 80s like were the epitome, the epitome of manliness.
Just the way they were sculpted, right? And even
Right.
I think you're right. Even more than that, probably their attitudes, their demeanor. These were
Totally.
men
These
in
were
the 80s with a
manly
capital M.
men,
Yeah,
like sexiest man alive kind of magazine
for
movie
sure.
star
Yes.
dudes. And so then you've got one Tom Cruise who's like the eternal, like him and Rob Lowe
Yeah.
are like don't age, even though they do.
They do
It
age,
actually,
but we could have some Tom Cruise with a shirt off chat. Maybe we should
Yeah,
not do that. But like you can tell that there's aging even though he's still
for
ripped.
sure. No,
Yeah.
no, no. I actually think he's aged amazingly. Well, he's aged
Oh,
incredibly well.
incredibly. Yes.
But actually, it's not like super fake. Can't even recognize
Mhm.
because he just had tons of surgery and doesn't really look like
Right.
he looks like he's aged is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah.
And then you've got Val Kilmer who's been going through these really really hard health struggles,
Right.
like we said, and
Yes.
they're in the same room acting as the same dudes. And so I was just like wondering like what does that even feel like as a human being?
Yes.
Like what were the backstage conversations like to reunite as those characters but in a totally different way? I don't know.
Well, and I have obviously never thought of this because I thought he was dead. Then this was a Grandma Tarkin situation. So it gives me a lot to chew on, certainly. I'm
Yeah.
really embarrassed by this. Yay. All right. I feel like I haven't missed this hard in a long time.
Okay, well, you can
yeah,
cut that if you
wow.
want to, or we'll just keep it in.
No, let's keep it. Can we talk about in the first one they're playing volleyball.
Yep.
Listen, the second one, they're not only playing football on the beach, it's double football.
Right.
2 football games. They explained it. John Hamm is like, huh? And Tom Cruise says,
Cool.
well, they're playing defense and offense at the same time. This felt like you were saying that before that sometimes in Maverick, they ignore some of the cheesiest stuff in Top Gun. I feel like this is a case where they're like, this is the scene that everybody remembers in Top Gun. It's cheesy, and we are going to out cheese it.
Yeah, it was cheese it, but in a good way.
Yeah,
It was great. It worked.
I really liked it, and it was Tom Cruise and his 55-year-old self jumping
Yep.
around with ladies and men who less than half his age, and he's
It
just
worked.
playing football in the ocean.
Yeah, looked incredible.
Yep.
Okay, here's where we should mention maybe
Yes.
the starkest difference between
Mhm.
86 and 2020, which is
Yeah.
when this was made. Actually, this was probably made in like 2019.
Right.
What was, first of all, there are women.
I mean, the woke mob got their hands on this movie. It's so funny to me that some people are like, I love Maverick because it goes back to before the woke mob. And I'm like, but didn't you watch? There's a lady in this. I mean, that like,
yes.
why aren't you mad about this, Brandon?
Right. Okay.
It's just like, come on.
100. Okay, so that needs to be mentioned even before this.
Yeah.
So me and Mr. Aaron were like, dude, like again, I'm thinking about the human element of this. Val Kilmer, Tom Cruise. The human element is 2020 hasn't happened yet. What you're watching being filmed, there's no COVID.
There's also no Ukraine war.
There's no Ukraine. There's no COVID. There's no like George Floyd racial reckoning summer.
Right. The world has really changed since they filmed this movie.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like. So when you say woke mob, are you saying like the diversity?
Yeah, I'm just saying what I'm reading some some conservative people online saying like, oh, thank goodness this is such a rebellion against the woke culture. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can finally go back and just be Americans, manly Americans again. And I'm like, would you just shut up? Now, I suppose there's a grain of truth for that in me, which is when I was watching it, I was like, this is the first time I've been proud to be an American in 3 years watching Top Gun Maverick.
You're like, go America.
So there is something there, right? And so I probably shouldn't dismiss it completely. But they still go way out of their way in this movie to not name the enemy.
Yep.
I mean, you think actually they're talking several times that this must be an Arab country they're talking about, right? Like Iran or Iraq. Then they go in and it's like snow-covered peaks in Washington State they're flying through. So they're real. And then the planes are unmarked. You even looking in at the enemy fighters, it's got black visors over it, so you can't even see their race, right?
Yep.
Right. So they're still like just completely vague
Yep.
Americanism and patrioticness that I'm okay
Yeah.
with buying into for some reason. I don't know if that makes me a bad person, but I'm like, USA, as long as it's not against anybody specific. USA, as long as there's a
Not a
lady there.
specific enemy. Not a specific enemy. Um, like just unified. Yay, go.
Right. Yes.
Right. Okay. I love that there's only one woman.
There's several women in the school, I think.
Yes,
Um,
but that are chosen are
yes.
now I can't remember her call sign, but
Oh,
she
I
was
can't either. I'll look
amazing.
it up. Yeah, I really liked her.
She was
It's also
awesome.
more racially diverse. I think
Yep.
Phoenix, was that her?
Phoenix, that's it.
Um,
Um,
which was actually was great, and I think is accurate probably for now versus then in a situation like this.
yep. Um, and then it wasn't all white.
Right. That's what I.
So
Yep.
that was
Definitely.
those were the two starkest differences just watching the movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I actually think you get a lot of that in legacy sequels where they're actually much more
Oh yeah.
concerned with diversifying the cast, making it look like America actually looks now,
Yep.
and probably then, but it wasn't a priority. So
Right.
I do actually think that that is also a complaint of people that think everything is run by the woke mob. Like, oh, you've got to put a black person in, and it's like, yeah, yes, we do. And
Have
shut
you
up.
seen like walked the streets? Come to Atlanta, dude. Like
Right,
America isn't
exactly.
all white, dude.
Yeah,
Plus it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, aren't people mad about like some like a new Star Wars Jedi character
Yeah,
that's
sure.
black or
They're
something?
always mad about a new Star Wars character. These toxic nerds. Sorry, boy, I'm in a mood today, aren't I? But it's just like, yeah, let them cast people, and so that little kids can see somebody that looks like them in a Star Wars
Yes.
movie.
Mm. Yeah. So good job on Top Gun
Yep,
for that.
yep,
That actually, we were talking about that too after the movie. Is like, I like that was pre 2020 actually
mm-hmm.
cast and filmed
Yes.
because I mean it shows that they're making it that they've Hollywood has been ahead of the curve with that, wouldn't you say?
Well,
Like
it also
since what
deflates
20
the argument that casting was done in response to
right.
some
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
politically correct
Right.
agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel so gross even saying those things.
That's
But do you know what
no,
I
but
mean?
that's
Like,
what I'm it was
yeah,
made before that, so you can't
right,
even say that.
right. Yep.
Yep.
Um, I'm just trying. I'm looking at my notes to see if I do. I feel like I have a little bit of a complicated relationship with Tom Cruise because I I mean I don't love that he's kind of the leader of or the face of Scientology, and I'm not into Scientology, and I think
Mm,
but why is he so charming? He's just a movie star, and I'm on his side immediately in these movies, and that feels a little complicated to me. Again, I don't know if I should be apologizing for that, but man, oh man, him, the fact that he's doing these stunts again, this Mission Impossible trailer where he just drives a motorcycle off of a cliff
yeah.
and
Like
just
I don't
hangs there in the air, and that's Tom Cruise.
yeah,
I don't know what to do
I
with
don't
it.
get that. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
yeah,
He's I guess I just don't think about that stuff.
sure, yeah,
Because I do think that's weird. I
mm-hmm.
100% agree.
Yeah,
Sometimes I wonder that about even when people listen to our podcast. Like, man, they talk about Jesus a lot,
yeah, sure. And
but you
it's
just keep
obviously
listening,
you're it's a dance, right? Separating the art from the artist. Um,
right?
but I just
But
think he's wonderful in this movie. I don't.
no,
He's funny,
dude,
charming,
his performance is perfect. His crying is perfect.
crying. The pillow. What
His
about that pillow talk scene?
yeah. What you mean, him and Jennifer Connelly?
Yeah, is there the chemistry there?
Perfect sex scene because they're like,
Well, is it? Oh, I had a
you,
question about that. Is that post-coital that we're seeing there?
yes, yeah,
Okay,
100%.
because this movie is
Um,
cleaner than Top Gun. Also, like,
that's what I'm saying. When we left, Me and Aaron were talking about Mr. Aaron. We're talking about that too. We were like, "There's no fast forwarding scene for
Nope.
kids." Like
There's just this
Lily,
80s synth
yeah,
music over them talking in
yep,
bed. You can't even hear what they're saying for that scene. And then when you do hear what they're saying, it's really great.
yep.
And then he jumps out of the window and has to talk to her daughter, and it's
One of the funniest scenes in a while.
so good.
Great. Like he's
He
sneaking
plays it
out, and
so
then she's
well.
like, "Hi, hi," you know.
And then she says, just don't hurt her again.
Mm, yep.
Hey, now that's a good line. Well
Yeah.
delivered, well acted, and it just is a real punch. Now they do eventually save the world in some incredible. I mean, the action scene at the end is so good. One thing I appreciated, well, I do have a stricken. Just even if you don't think anybody's gonna fly through that trench, at least put like a fence or a net up or something. Bad
Right.
guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Sure.
I
Sure.
know it's
Sure.
unlikely that they would fly through that trench, but do. But a big problem I've always had with the trench scene in Star Wars is why is there just an open hole in the Death
I know.
Star that you could
That's
drop a
a.
bomb in? They take care of
Yep.
that in this movie. You have to blow it open first. This two miracles thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Top Gun, for taking care of that problem. You blow it open first and then you drop the bomb in. Two miracles.
Mm,
Ah,
yep.
how
I.
great was
I mean.
that? I loved it.
Yeah. Like the flip. You have like the Mission Impossible idea,
Mm-hmm.
which is you're gonna have to fly straight up, then do a loop de loop, then
Yep.
go straight down, hit this tiny little hole, and
Mm-hmm.
then fly straight up into the tomb at
Yep.
10 G's or something like that. Like every single so that led to like an epic training montage
Yep.
where they couldn't do it,
I
and
love that.
then
Yep.
we got a double Maverick right with the stealth fighter, and then here he goes rogue, he goes Maverick,
Yep.
and he shows them it can be done.
Yes.
Like they don't believe that they can do this. He's like, show them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then he
Yeah.
like took it literally. He literally showed
Goes
them.
out there and I love that scene. He does it faster than any of them because they don't think it's possible.
Oh,
Wow, what a scene. I mean, it's
dude,
just
it's
scene
so
upon
good.
scene upon scene. And then, like we said before, they both crash, him and Rooster, and then they have to steal an old plane.
Yeah.
And I love that when they're like, huh, this technology can't work, but actually it's the perfect technology because we can fly below the radar and all this stuff. And then we
Yep.
still have to defeat the bad guys with this super old plane.
Yep. They got to go back to the old school plane that Goose and Maverick flew in.
Yes.
And Rooster got to be his Rio. Like,
Mhm.
perfect.
When they see that old plane and there's all those clackety switches, I mean, I'm sitting ramrod straight in my chair. Like, this is, could it get any better than this? I know it's ridiculous. I know it would never happen. Did you read
Yeah.
this Vulture article? I should send this to you about this,
Oh,
about
no.
Top Gun Maverick, this woman's theory, and I think it's really good. Is that
Oh, what is
everything
it?
after the 10 Mach 10 thing at the beginning and he crashes
Yep.
is his death dream. Like he actually dies
Whoa.
there, and the rest of it is him dreaming what he wishes he could do to make up for the mistakes he's made in his life.
Whoa. That's pretty
And
good.
it's really good.
Dude, what if he woke up at the end? Like Sixth Sense style.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yep. I just got chill
although he
bumps.
wouldn't wake up in the end though, because he's dead.
Right. Or if
Or
it's a
I
coma
don't know.
dream or something.
Or
Like it's
it's
a
a coma.
fever
Yeah,
dream.
yeah,
Yeah. Because there's so many things where he should die, including that initial crash when he crashes going Mach 10.
Uh-huh. And then walks into that like
I
diner.
love
That was so,
and he says, "Where am I?" And the kid says, "Earth."
yeah, dude, that was so good.
What an opener. Okay. I think we should probably stop because it's an hour 41. We still have a Father of the Bride's result show to record.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
can I just say one more thing about Tom Cruise? Here's my theory about Tom Cruise lately. He loves Mission Impossible. So do I. He loves the character that he plays in Mission Impossible, Ethan Hunt. And so this felt like and you said it a little bit ago, a Top Gun Mission Impossible mashup to me.
That's exactly what I said to Mr. Aaron, dude. As we
Wow.
were leaving, I was like, there isn't really anything that defines Maverick Pete Mitchell as a character. Like
Mhm.
he is Tom Cruise. Like it's
He's
not
Tom
like
Cruise. He's Ethan Hunt. He's his
yes,
character in that movie, and all of a sudden he gets called out to do this side thing, and that's Top
yes,
Gun Maverick.
yes. So he's just being him,
Yes.
and his acting has evolved and his cultural footprint, and he takes something from every movie that he's ever done, and it keeps building and building and building. And
Yeah.
so you're 100% right. I was like, this is like that's exactly what I said. I think I even said mashup.
And at this point, he's kind of put aside kind of the Rain Man drama
Yep.
stuff that he
Yep.
was doing in the
Totally.
80s and 90s, and he has
Uh-huh.
fully embraced. It's Edge of Tomorrow is the same thing. He is
Oh,
Tom Cruise in that movie,
yep.
and it works so hard
Dude,
for
he is
me.
amazing.
Yeah. All right.
He
Well, you're great. I guess
Dang
you're
it.
great. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, dude, that video with him and James Corden, he just seems fun.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
the tent scene when he's
Mhm.
like telling stories of his movies, that's why we called it Cocktail.
Mm.
Friggin' hilarious.
Yeah. It's really
Like
good. And
Cocktail, have you
I
seen
would
that?
say, shirt on or shirt off. Tom Cruise, I love you.
Yep.
And I can't wait for Mission Impossible 6 Part 1, or I think it's 7 at this
Yes.
point. Part 1. Can't wait. All right. Well, there you
Amazing.
go. Now, if we're going to really do a reboot versus original thing here, for me, the Top Gun Maverick just runs away with it.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
no contest. The only thing is there would be no Maverick without Top Gun. So it's like,
Yeah. That's true. You have to have that original, but still, I don't mind a sequel or a reboot improving on the first
oh
one.
yeah. Yep.
Um, I'm actually, let's put it to I this is out of curiosity. I'm
Okay.
wondering what our
Yeah, yeah,
listeners
yeah.
that have seen both movies think. Is Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick the better movie? We'll
Great,
put that as
great
our poll
question.
next week. Sweet. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Thanks, Adam and
Love it.
Jason and Davis and Annie, for all that you do for us. We're pretty positive Oh Brother Where Art Thou is coming out next month for
Yep.
our On Perfect movie, but this was fun. We should do more of these.
I loved it, dude, and I love Tom Skerritt still.
We love you, Tom Skerritt.
And we love Jennifer Connelly.
And in conclusion, we love Ed Harris. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. All right, let's stop that.
All right.
1, 2, 3, stop. Oh, jeez, dude.
Oh, I know. All right. See ya, everybody. We've got to record our next step.
Bye.
Bye.